Ooh, hi, it's Stevie BBs. How you doing then? Weather picked up late afternoon yesterday, and it's not raining now, so that's good. Next door neighbours, without telling anybody, have decided to have a new gas boiler, which entails turning off the water in the street. Didn't tell anybody. I'm halfway through cleaning my teeth. Oh, no water coming out the tap. What? Fortunately, there was a little drop left in the hot tap pot, so I got that. You know. But now, of course, there's no water in the kettle. Can't have a cup of tea. Can't have a cup of tea. Oh, terrible. Can't have a cup of tea. Never mind, eh? I'm not going to say what I think about the neighbours. No one's business. There's some things you don't talk about. One thing we do talk about is my paintings. Here's one that's completely out of my normal scope. Did it in 2007. We went on holiday. It was just me, my wife, and my youngest. And I booked it all online. Booked the flight, hired a car, booked a private room in a private house actually. A lovely house, old-fashioned, really old-fashioned, beautiful. I could live there. In a tiny village in Spain, I thought I could practice my Spanish. Nope. It was on the side of a mountain like this. You couldn't get the car down to the actual house. You had to park at the top on the side of the mountain and walk down the narrow street. And my wife hated it. I don't think my son was that enthralled either. But the air was just beautiful. Silence. It was tangible, apart from the building site next door. Well, some English people were renovating an old property there. So people moan about immigrants here, but we go and emigrate to other places, don't we? And take over, buy cheap properties and do them up and live like lords and never bothered to speak the language. But I was there to try and speak the language. I just found actually, because of the accent thing, very little in common with what I've been taught in the class at home, John Cleveland College, as it was then called. Even though it was a proper Spanish teacher teaching us, her accent was totally different. She was from up north, Zaragoza, I think. And of course, Andalusia, very different. It's Andalusia. Yeah. And we were taught in Spanish you pronounce every letter. Well, that's a complete and utter lie. Because the word hospital is spelt hospital. It's pronounced slightly different from the English version of hospital. And in Andalusia, it's hospital. Hospital. No S. Didn't pronounce the S. Hospital. First, I wondered what that word was. Then it dawned on me. They were talking about a hospital. Hospital. Every morning, I'd go for a walk. And every morning, this little old man would walk down the street and he'd go, over there, over there, over there. And he was actually saying good morning in Spanish. He was saying buenos dias. Over there. Accents, you see, they kill. I mean, fancy learning English if you are Spanish or French or whatever, and then going up to Geordie land. I mean, we don't know what they're saying, and they're supposed to be speaking English. So God knows what foreigners make of it. Anyway, back to the artwork. In Otivar, halfway up the hills, there was a fountain. And I think there was a horse trough. Because obviously you have to use horses or donkeys to move stuff around there because you just couldn't do it. Absolutely impossible. Even the dustmen. Don't know how they did it. So halfway up this hill, the streets went diving and all that to make it a bit easier. There was a fountain. And there you go. I call it Fuente de Otivar. That's another thing. V sounds like a B. Otivar. Now, I don't know if I'm saying the Otivar right. Not the Otivar or Otivar. I don't know. So, Fountain of Otivar, Otivar, or Fuente de Otivar. $2, the price of one. Saying the same thing in different languages. Showing off there. It's 64 by 64 centimetres. And I've just weighed it. I've written down £4. It is quite heavy. Very substantially made. I made this canvas at uni. We were taught there by science man who sadly passed away. He was a lovely guy. He was a technician and he taught us more than the tutors did. So there we go. I was trying desperately hard to only work in black and white. And tutors were making it very difficult to do that. Try some colour, Steve. Put some colour in. I think this might have been the last one that was basically black and white. Any yellow bits is basically the underpainting because it was, I painted it all yellow first. Can't remember why. It seemed a good idea at the time. Anyway, I quite like it. I don't love it. It actually looks better on the screen than it does in real life. Should I admit that? That's something I learned at Loughborough University when I wasn't actually a student there. I was, well, actually, aren't we always students, just not officially? I used to go to lectures there, even though I was just a full-time life model. Sometimes you get free time and I go pop into a lecture. And anyway, I remember the illustration tutor, whose models also work for, saying that it doesn't matter about little mistakes if you paint big, because when it's shrunk down by the camera, those little mistakes disappear. And that may be what's happening here, because in real life, I think, oh, I don't like that bit, oh, I don't like that bit. But when I see it small, shrunk down like that, it works. So maybe it needs to be viewed from a distance. Yeah, I quite like it. Don't love it. Quite like it. So that's the first painting I've discovered in my little store. But I don't look. That's okay. So today, excuse me, later on, because Sam's a teacher who's furloughed at the minute, but he does have staff meetings on the old, I think it's Zoom, is it? And he's got one of those this morning, so we can't go anywhere until after 11:30, he said. We need to go and what do we need to do? Well, we can't do anything until we get the copies of the will. We're going to definitely go to the cemetery because Linda, my sister-in-law, rang up yesterday, and the bench right next to brother-in-law, her deceased husband, his spot in the graveyard, right next to it was. Apparently, it looks like a car has come down, smashed into it, and pushed it onto headstones. Luckily, Charlie didn't have a headstone, he has a marker, but not a headstone because they're very expensive. So, perhaps go and have a look at that, put some flowers in, sort things out. Then go to her mother's house, see if there's any mail come through the letterbox. If there is, it'll only be junk. So yesterday they sorted out the solicitor. They sorted out the equity release people. Norwich Union, now called Otivar. Everything's hunky-dory, really. We just need to get copies of the will and copies of the deeds, or the original deeds would be better, and to inform the taxman because of the inheritance tax thing, and then we can apply for probate, which we're doing. as I've told you before, because it doesn't look that difficult. It's a form online, you can do it. So the joy of the internet is you can do most things yourself online. You don't have to pay solicitors exorbitant fees. So they might not like it, but I think it's bloody marvellous. So anyway, there we go. That's today's painting. 10 minutes I've been waffling. Unbelievable. I can't waffle when there's people about. I'll put a sign outside the studio there. It says filming in progress, stay out. Because the wife's lurking in the garden. I'm surprised she's not peeking through the windows. Anyway, she isn't. So you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say love all. Press like, subscribe, hurt none, and walk in soft shoes. See you, babies!